Hi, my name is Kathleen and you're here at Karuna Lane Sanctuary. We've been here for about 4 years now and I'm going to give you a quick little tour. So this is Richard. He's actually one of the first animals that called Karuna Lane home. He's been here for 3 to 4 years. He's a big guy. He's also probably the most handsome. Look at that beard. He lives here with Sugar, who's up on top of the roof there. And they lounge and have a pretty good time. That one's John. Yeah, he's nice.
Horns.
He does have horns.
No, nice.
Oh no, he's very nice. Hank actually used to live on a farm and he had another goat friend named Greta, and unfortunately Greta was hit by a car, and Hank lived with that farmer for a little bit longer, but he was the only goat there, so he was getting pretty lonely, and the farmer just felt pretty bad about it and wanted him to have lots of friends, and instead of buying more animals, he knew about Karuna Lane Sanctuary and came here one day and asked if it might be okay to bring Hank here. And I thought it would be a great idea, and Hank has been here ever since. And he has lots of friends now, actually. He's so sweet, aren't you?
Baby.
So this is Bruno. He came to us when he was really, really young. He was actually at the St. Jacob's market and was supposed to be killed because he was so sick. He had pneumonia and a whole bunch of other things going on. But an activist was able to negotiate getting Bruno and brought him here. We treated him. He had a rough winter, but he's in perfect health now, and he's honestly the nicest sheep we have. He nuzzles your neck, he cuddles, he's just an all-around nice guy. Aren't you, Bruno? So this is my chicken motel, I guess you could call it. One of the things that comes up a lot in Sanctuary is that you're constantly getting emails and messages from people who want you to take their rooster. Unfortunately, roosters are considered unnecessary by the industry, problematic by neighborhoods who try to have backyard chickens, and so they're often disposed of either at the side of the road or in the woods or at sanctuaries. So I built this with the intention of being able to help and house as many roosters as I could, but it's still not big enough. And the reason that I had to create all these separate coops is that sometimes roosters don't get along. This way I'm able to rotate who's in, who's out throughout the day and still give them space and sunshine and fresh air and freedom while kind of managing the drama that can come up between them. And the other thing is that although people are concerned about noise in neighborhoods with backyard chickens and backyard roosters, they're actually no louder than having a bunch of kids in the backyard. So here I have roosters crowing all the time. It actually sounds really nice. They're not as loud as people think that they're going to be. And the other concern people have is that all roosters fight, and that's definitely not the case. I have quite a few roosters who are all out at the same time. It just takes management and figuring out who's going to get along well with who. It's the same with humans. So right now we're in one of the coops for the momos, and if you take a look you can see all the different coops that are going down that way, and each one has a different flock in it. So depending on the time of day or sometimes the day, different flocks will be out at different times. Sometimes a whole bunch of them all at once, but like I said before, it depends on who gets along and who doesn't. So each chicken flock has a front run area. Usually we have plants in here for them, vegetation, a nice nesting box, and then in colder temperatures or in super hot temperatures, they have the option to go in here. And this is usually, sorry honey, keep going. This is where they would sleep at night. One thing I try to do with any of the female chickens that come in, any of the hens, is get an implant for them, because laying eggs is actually really, really difficult for their bodies, especially if that's something that they were doing prior to their life here, if they're an egg-laying hen, or even the Cornish cross girls who were technically destined to become slaughtered for meat. Laying an egg takes so much out of them. So we're a vegan sanctuary, so we don't eat them, but we do collect them every day, and if there is an egg, we feed them back to the girls, and then they're able to get a lot of that nutrition back that they lost through the process of trying to grow and lay an egg. This, don't you?
Oh my gosh.
Can you crack it? You try. You can do it. This one almost got it. Oh, come on. Do you want me to start it for you? Oh. Yummy! This is RuPaul. He has the name because he is so fancy. And we'll let him strut. He has such a fancy strut, fancy colors. He's always kind of showing off a little bit for everybody. So his name was originally Charlie when he got here, and I usually don't change names, but he just didn't seem like a Charlie anymore. He was definitely RuPaul. Some of the girls in here I call the Golden Girls because they're senior chickens. They've been around for a number of years. This is their second, third, or even fourth home that they've had. A few of them came from the same home, a very loving home, but one of the caregivers passed away, and unfortunately it just became too much for the wife that was left, and she wanted to find them a good home, and she reached out to me, and here they are. They're amazing, and they're still doing really, really well despite their age. We think some of them are around 8, 9, even 10 years old, and that's why we call them the Golden Girls. Plus, they're beautiful. So we're in the duck house right now. They have a sort of outdoor area, an indoor area for at night, and an outdoor pond area that we're currently working on. The type of ducks here are a real mix. They've come from all kinds of different places. Some of the ducks here came from a hoarder who had every type of animal living in his house. So they took a while to kind of get adjusted to this new life that they have here. Some of the ducks came from really loving homes, and some ducks came from places that we really don't know where they came from, but they needed homes, and now they're here. So this is Coco. She's actually a mum. Her daughter is hiding in the corner here. Coco is about 12 years old. She was one of 3 pet goats at a dairy farm previously, and she's been living here for about 2 years now. And she has to be probably the sweetest but bossiest goat that lives here. Okay, so this is Jasper, that's Jasmine, and that's Tilly way over there. When they came here, they were much smaller, and they were only supposed to be here for a couple of weeks, just temporary, but they've actually never left. They're a lot bigger now, and they're just as sweet as they were the first day they arrived. They're like big puppy dogs. They're amazing. So this is Mallory. She is 28 years old this year. She has been an almost lifetime friend of Pedro the donkey. They've been together for about 20 years, and they basically fell in love at first sight, which is really special. Mallory, when she's here, she's very sassy and kind of does her own thing. She doesn't like to be told what to do. In fact, she tells everyone else what to do, but that's kind of what makes her so amazing. So this is Pedro. He is 36 years old this year. He hasn't been doing as well in the past year, but he did have a lot of health complications that we had to manage when he arrived here. He's lived in a number of different homes, Originally, he was used as a birthday party donkey for people to ride on, but then a really good family in Brampton rescued him about 20 years ago, and he lived a really happy life there for all those years until one of his caregivers passed away. He was definitely sad after that happened, and I think sometimes his heart still hurts and misses Ray, the man who was taking care of him. But ever since arriving here, he's definitely stolen everyone's heart. He's the nicest, most gentle donkey, I think, out there. But maybe I'm biased. So we have Fran and Bruno, Luna, Stella, and that's Lizzie in the back there. She was actually rescued from the Royal Winter Fair. One thing that a lot of people don't think about is when kids are involved in 4-H and they spend months taking care of an animal, learning how to groom them, feed them, all of that. At the end of it, after the big show at the Royal Winter Fair, they often send them off to be auctioned, which is ultimately to be slaughtered. And a little girl there was absolutely horrified by the idea of this. When she got here, she had absolutely no wool. She was sheared down to her bare skin in the middle of November. If you can imagine how cold they would be, it was horrifying. So she wore a t-shirt and sweaters for a number of months until her wool grew back in. This is Stella. She is our smallest sheep and our loudest sheep. She definitely lets you know when she's around. She loves to eat strawberries, and despite her size, she likes to push everyone around a little bit. So this is Fran, and she is from another world. She was actually rescued right off of Carroll at Easter time. So she was destined to be slaughtered and on someone's plate by Easter Monday. But through Toronto Cow Save, we were able to negotiate getting her and one other lamb out of there. She's so gentle, so kind, so forgiving, and so lovely. So now we're in the barn, so this is where a lot of the larger animals spend the night. So everyone gets locked in at night. Chickens, ducks, sheep, pigs, goats, everyone is in. So you can see some of the stalls here. They all know which stall is theirs. So at the end of the day, it's actually really easy because you open them up and everyone just runs into where they're supposed to go to have their dinner. Hi, Pedro. What are you doing in there, Penny? Taking a nap? Hi, Penny. Okay, so this is Penny, and she's actually the first potbelly pig to ever come to live here. And she must be at least 8 or 9 years old now. She came here when she was about 6. Anyway, she's very sassy. She definitely has her own personality. She's a bit of a loner. She sticks to herself. She doesn't really like to hang out with any of the other potbelly pigs. But at the same time, she also enjoys a couple scratches here and there. And she's just moved into her new area. So right now we are in the potbelly pig forest. They each have their own little cabins. So Penny has her own cabin here, and I'm sitting in front of Charlene, Verushka, and Claudia's cabin. And at night, that's where they go in to sleep, and during the day, they wander around the forest, rooting everything up and having a pretty good time. So this is Regan. She actually just arrived today. She was at the Humane Society in Guelph, and they weren't really sure where she came from. She was just found on a country road. She has the look that she came most likely from a battery cage or a grain farm. The lack of feathers and the picking and all that kind of stuff is pretty indicative of being in a very cramped space. She was at the Guelph Humane Society for about a month, and as I said, today is her first day here, so hopefully we'll be able to check in soon and show some improvement in her feather condition. Overall, she seems pretty happy to be here. So a lot of times people are asking how they can come see the animals, how they can help, and there's a lot of different ways that people can become involved. So one way would be to come for a tour. Come for an hour, meet all the animals that you see online in person, which can be really exciting. Or you could come for a volunteer day and help with some of the projects that we're working on. There is always something on the go here, so there's never a lack of things to do. Another thing that you can do that we haven't been doing for a while, it had to be put on hold, is to come for a farm stay. So we're slowly working on getting this cute tiny cabin up and ready so that people can come and stay for a day or a couple days and have their own private space, still close to the animals and with all the amenities that you would need to have a good weekend away and still get to enjoy the sanctuary life at the same time. Sanctuaries often depend a lot on donations. They're really hard to ask for, definitely not easy to put the word out about, but the donations go to all kinds of things. So it can go towards vet bills, feed, animal care in general, and also being able to accommodate more animals or provide better space for the animals that we already have. One example of what we're doing with donations that we received last year is creating a new space for our senior donkey Pedro and our senior horse Mallory so that they can have their own space separate from the goats and the sheep and all the more energetic animals. And so right now I'm standing on what will be their new house, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Hi, my name is Tamara and welcome to my family's micro-sanctuary. We're located just 5 minutes outside of Kitchener and Cambridge. We're a home for over 40 chickens from all kinds of situations, from factory farms to the small local egg farms to some that were even just found wandering the road. Our hope is that we can help people get to know chickens for how amazing they are and to learn a bit more about them today. This is Russell and he came here about 2 weeks ago and he has been the sweetest little friend. He is only a few weeks old. I'm not sure how many. My guess is about 1.5 months to 2 months. He is very small. He still peeps and he is so attached to humans. So when he was found along a trail in Brampton and like he was so scared, so anxious. A family found him while they were walking along a trail behind a suburb and he was just left there in the tall grass. So our guess is that whoever had them were hatching chicks. They realized he was a rooster and they dumped him. Luckily for Russell, a nice lovely family found him. They kept him in their home overnight and they Googled, got in touch with Froghollow Farm Sanctuary, who then contacted us and we got him the very next day. And all Russell wants is to be with you. If he's not with you, he'll cry and scream. He's been staying in the house with us because he is too small and the other chickens might be a bit mean to him. And that's just to his liking because all he wants is to be right at your side. Russell will even follow you up the stairs really well. He sleeps on your lap. He likes being snuggled. He's just a sweetheart and we love watching him grow and get more and more confident every single day. He was a very anxious little guy and I think had some sort of separation anxiety, but no wonder. He was just a tiny little fella when he was abandoned. And yeah, we really look forward to watching him grow and seeing his personality come out. And then eventually when he moves in with our main flock, we'll see him make new friends and learn more about what it's like to be a chick. So this is Wendell. He is our rooster in command and he's in our main flock, which has most of our chickens. He is the #1 rooster and most of the ladies just adore him. He and his brother Rue and his sister Violet all came to us about 4 years ago now when they were just little babies. They came from a lovely family who had them for most of their young life up until they were about 5 months old, and then they started crowing, and unfortunately they were in a municipality that allows hens but not roosters, and so she started panicking thinking the bylaw officers might be called any minute and she might have her babies taken away. Originally they were from a backyard butcher. he was raising chicks to have for their meat, but I guess he didn't see the point in raising only 4, so he was going to kill them as babies until he reached out to a vegan family who was like, no, don't do that. And then the rest is history. So ever since, they've been happy boys here and have been absolutely perfect gentlemen with their ladies. This is my very best friend, Rue. He is absolutely perfect. My goodness, look at him. Just perfect. Rue, we love this boy. He is so good. He is second in command. He kind of defers to his brother Wendell. If Wendell's in the way or if he wants something, he will just move aside. A lot of people think roosters will all fight and you can't keep them together, but it's not true. It really just depends on their personalities. So if Wendell thinks Rue is getting in the way of something, then Rue will tend to just walk away and move somewhere else. And there was no real fighting between them. Rue just defers and moves along. He's a good boy, but he's also just a sweetheart. Wendell doesn't really like any human contact or being around us, but Rue, he is my sidekick. He's there first thing in the morning. He likes to eat out of your hand, and before bedtime every night he likes to cuddle up and he'll like get snuggled, and he's just the sweetest. He's always looking out for his ladies. Right now he's saying he's found a snack and he's calling everybody over. You're a good boy, Rue. These are some of our ex-battery hens. Almost all of these white hens, all but one, have come to us right from factory farms. So they were in those tiny battery cages where they have only as much space as a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, to live their entire lives on. So the farms keep them up to 18 months to 2 years, and then if their egg production drops, that's when they get sent to slaughter, and then new hens replace them. Younger hens whose production hasn't dropped as much. But thankfully, through Cedar Row Farm Sanctuary's adoption drive, we were able to get out as many as we can every year and provide them a safe home. So these ladies would have came to us in either 2016 or 2017, and sadly, one of the things these hens are very prone to is reproductive problems. We had so many cases of what we suspect was ovarian cancer or other illnesses related to that because of how much their bodies have been altered. Their genetics have been altered to lay so much. So one of the things we would love to do is get as many implants as we can, and these implants, they last 3 to 6 months, and they will basically stop egg production. So we use these especially whenever there's any sort of medical issue where there's an urgent need. But we also want to start doing them more in a preventative manner because of how many reproductive illnesses we've come across. So almost all the little white hens are from the factory farms. The little ginger hens, they are mostly from smaller scale egg farms. So these are places that you would hear called local or free range, but they're not always as nice as they're made out to be. They're here for the same reason as the others, because just like factory farms, the small scale ones are all about money, and the older hens who are about 2 years old or so, they will replace them with younger hens and ditch these ladies. We were able to get a number out of various farms, and now they live here and they're happy and safe. And Rue couldn't be happier, eh buddy? He's come over to protect me. So now we are in with our small flock, and it is much smaller. Most of our chickens are in the other side, but this is our sort of special needs area. So here we have Melvin and his 3 ladies, Mary, Betty in the back there, and wee Elsa. There's also our 3 Cornish cross ladies who are separated because we need to be careful about their food. Hey Melvin, say hello. So this is Melvin, and he is our small flock's rooster. He was found wandering on a road in Etobicoke, and luckily some good Samaritan picked him up. So he was around 5 or 6 months old when he was found, which is around the time that the male chicks will start crowing. So it is likely that somebody got chicks, got surprised that one was a rooster, and sadly dumped him. He arrived to us covered in some weird grease, and we had to just even bath him, get him all cleaned up, and yeah, and he's been here ever since. We tried integrating him into our main flock, and it wasn't so much that the roosters were mean, but it was the hens. They just didn't like him. So poor Melvin, he was just a young little fella at the time. He was just so relieved to get back into his quarantine area and away from those ladies. So yeah, we ended up building his own coop and his own greenhouse. And then it's turned into a great little space for any sort of special needs hens who need to have fewer chickens with them. So here's our 3 Cornish cross ladies. So these are the hens that they would typically raise for their flesh. And normally they are not allowed to live more than 6 to 8 weeks when they're Russell's age, still peeping. But luckily here, Louise and Marie are already a year old, and then here's Edith. She's celebrated her 2nd birthday in March. So yeah, one of the things about Cornish crosses you might hear is they won't live past a year old, and it is true unless you actually feed them a restricted diet. So these hens have been bred to want to eat constantly. All they want to do is eat, and they will stop eating eventually, but they still always feel hungry. So they also have been really efficient at putting on the pounds with whatever they eat. So we only give them a 1/4 cup of food twice a day, once in the morning and once at bedtime, and that's it. And it's very important to restrict their diet, because even though that's all they get, along with a lot of like fresh greens and sort of filler foods, they're still the size that they are. Edith is larger than our largest rooster, Rue. But you are the best. So Edith came to us as a young chick. She was only 1 or 2 weeks old. And somebody was going to feed her to their pet snake. Thankfully the snake said, no, we don't want that. And yeah, so then a nice family saved her from that guy and found a sanctuary for her. So Marie and Louise came to us last year along with 5 other hens we fostered before they got to their other home. And they came to us from a University of Guelph research study that normally would have these animals euthanized at the end. Thankfully the student researcher in this one was not willing to let that happen, and she found a home for all 30 babies. And we were lucky to take 2 of them. So they were on an unlimited diet in this study. So when they got to us, they were about 6.5 weeks old, and they were already so big that on the first night, I thought that Marie was actually not going to make it because she was so big and she was so sick from her size. Thankfully, she pulled through, and they're both doing really well. And Marie, where she was once the biggest chick of the group, is now the smallest of our 3 Cornishes. So this is Gwendolyn. She is an extra special hen who's been here for about a year now, and ever since she came here she's been sick. So a few days after she arrived, we had to rush her to emergency because she was throwing up and no food or fluids were moving into her system. So we got her fixed up, and she was good for a while. It took about 2 or 3 weeks of medication every day, twice a day. And then once she got over that, she was good, and that was in around last July. Then about 6 months later, she got sick again, and we did the same thing. We gave her the treatment, and then she got better. So that was what, January? Then she also got sick again mid-February, then again in March, and then not like we would fix her up, and then it was like 1 day after we stopped treatment and it came back again. We did some fundraising so we could get her some more diagnostics, and thankfully the community helped us get her there. And in doing so, we found out that it wasn't so much a problem with her crop, which is part of their stomach sort of, but it was an x-ray showed that she has an enlarged liver. So we aren't exactly sure why, but we have some suspicions, so we got her on some different medicine. And yeah, she had some really scary times where we thought for sure we were going to lose her any minute. We called our volunteer vet, Dr. Sarah Dodd. She recommended something, and it was amazing how it brought her back just within a few minutes. So we are forever grateful for her advice and everything that she does to help sanctuaries everywhere, because she saved our perfect little Gwendolyn. So Gwendolyn's on her own because she is perpetually sick. She did have a wee friend, but for the most part she is sort of an independent soul, and she has her own little house
because she does have so many health problems. So in there we get to make sure she's safe and doesn't have to deal with anybody being mean to her on top of feeling so unwell and gucky.
We have over 70 animals.
We have chickens, we have donkeys, we have cows, we have goats, we have a turkey and pigs.
So we're located between Woodstock and Paris. We're 45 minutes from London and Kitchener. So what's a typical day like?
Well, we feed in the morning, and that probably, in the summer, takes a lot less time. We can probably do it in a good 15-20 minutes to feed everybody and let them out, and they can go wander. We sprinkle all their food and they can go hunt for it. Simon's not eating my shirt. Dinner takes a little bit longer in the evening to make sure all the waters are filled and everyone is fed. Maybe half an hour, but in the winter it takes a good hour twice a day. Plus all the other chores like trimming feet, cleaning the barn and cleaning outside, all those kind of things. They certainly add up every week.
So this is one of our pig houses, and we have 29 pigs, but they don't all live in this house.
No. What do the pigs like to do most, Wes?
Hang in their houses and go in the mud. Because they do like doing that.
One of the problems that brought a lot of populated pigs here and to a lot of rescues throughout North America is that people get them as pets and they don't really grasp the needs that pigs require. They take a lot of time and energy. They don't always love house living. They do better with a lot of outside space and they like to root. So a lot of people give up on them. They also can live for up to 20 years. It does make it a long-term commitment when people end up getting pigs as pets. This is Flower and she's deaf.
She can't, yeah.
Ruby, Lucy, Lily, Poppy, Katie, Karen, and Rosie. Two of them were pets that were given up last summer. Rosie came from the Humane Society in Kitchener-Waterloo, and the other three were rescued from a farm market where they were being sold off for very little money. And they were just very young babies when a young girl took them home with her but needed a permanent place for them. People can help the pigs and all the other animals at Froghollow by donating produce, money to help vet costs, feed, hay, blankets, and yeah.
Cohen, who is this? This is Joy. She's a horse, very old, and she was a horse at another like riding place, and now her back is like very hurt, and like curved because she got ridden so much, like a lot.
She's had a pretty rough life. When she came to us, she was severely underweight, dehydrated, and in terrible shape. And then over the last 4 or 5 years, she's really put on some weight and gets very excited about her dinner at dinner time. She's even taken up swimming in the pond. Her best friend is Barney. And she's a pretty happy old girl, aren't you, Joy? This is Charlotte, and she came to us from another sanctuary with her brother Wilbur, who's probably sleeping in his house today.
Hi, Wilbur.
Pretty hot, but they like the mud to keep them cool. There you go, Charlotte.
That's not yours. What? No, thanks. Hi. No, you can't have any. Oh. You gotta go. Can you stop snorting on me? You're heavy.
Attack squad. Well, can you introduce your attack squad? Ooh, they are really cool.
And Bishop, Ryan, and Spaghetti are over there.
Oh, hello. And of course, Tom.
Who wants all of the attention to himself.
So this is Simon, and he's a miniature goat. He was found walking in someone's backyard.
Simon's a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Is your butt bugging you, Simon? Oh yeah, Grandma did say your butt was bugging you. I guess we need to look at that, huh?
Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on.
I don't like it.
Just need to hold him still. Alright.
Oh no, there's this one.
Yeah, I know. Alright, like.
Oh my god! It's so strong!
Hold still.
I have new clothes. Put him in the
Just.
handball.
Yeah, don't touch it first. I think we'll probably need him in the stanchion to really.
Today.
To really look at it. Because I think. I mean, it could be an ankle or a knee problem, right? He's being
looks
very
like his
difficult.
toe though.
Yeah, it could be his
Like
toe.
he doesn't want to put his toe down.
Yeah, it doesn't seem sensitive on his.
That is quite the kick, Simon. Simon is troublesome. Simon likes to eat everything. He likes to go for walks with the whole family, and he likes to headbutt.
No, I don't want to stop.
Now don't think
He's gonna get you, Wes.
You gotta run ahead.
I can't. He'll just run.
We're checking out his foot.
Yeah, he has a sore foot today, so we're trying to get a better look at it to see what's wrong with it.
Yeah,
It's really itchy. Owen, be nice to your brother.
He's trying to get out of it. It's a game, okay? Whatever.
It's like,
Like the boys strangling each other in the back.
Oh.
All fixed up.
Organic, you can come.
This is Newton, and he came to live with us when his family no longer wanted him. Yeah, so he lives with us now.
And he's happy.
Most of the time. This is Diana, and she likes all things food. Watermelons and fruits are especially favorite, and baked goods. She loves attention and drooling on everyone. Diana's known for always greeting everyone who comes to visit. She's often right here at the gate looking to see what they bring. She was rescued locally from a beef lot and was originally born on a dairy farm in Ontario. She ended up going to a beef lot probably because she did not get pregnant, so she wasn't able to have babies, and therefore she's no good to the dairy industry. And then my friend met her and fell in love with her and rescued her from there.
And then the rest of the world fell in love with her since. Hey, Diana.
Hi there, welcome to Cedar Row Farm Sanctuary. I'm Siobhan Poole and this is Peter Poole, and we are the co-founders. We started rescuing farmed animals 21 years ago. This is our first virtual open house. We would love to introduce you to some of our rescued farm friends, so come and join us. So this is the main barn where we have 6 pigs, potbelly pig and 3 goats and numerous cats that call this home. And now we're going to go and let the pigs out. This is Roberta, who turns 9 years old next month. Roberta fell off a truck on the 401 in 2011, survived and ended up at Cedar Row Farm Sanctuary. Truffles. Jimmy. This is Bardo. Bardo also fell off the truck and ended up at Cedar Row Farm Sanctuary 6 years ago. Look at those beautiful spots on her. This is Joaquin. Joaquin is heritage breed, and he was being raised outside. Joaquin came to Cedar Row 7 years ago. He was accidentally stepped on by his mom. The farmer thought he was dead, so he just left him in the field. And then 2 days later, a young couple came by to see the piglets, and he popped his head up. So when he came to Cedar Row, he had one good leg, and 7 years later, he's getting around pretty good. Did you know pigs blow their bristles every year? This is what it looks like. This is Jimmy. Jimmy was born on a truck. His mother had a litter of stillborn, and the truck that was there at the farm to pick up the other calf sows. And so they said, put her on the truck. So they put her on the truck. And she had Jimmy on the truck. She hadn't even finished giving birth. So they told the worker to kill Jimmy because he was considered contaminated. And so he ended up taking him home, and then he ended up here a month or so later at Cedar Row. So Jimmy's 8 years old now. And just a pig with a huge personality. So, hey, big boy. Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah. These are our backyard pigs, as we call them. We have Oink, Cromwell's there, and Ginger. Pigs do not have functional sweat glands, and so this is a very good reason why wallows are important for them, so they can go in and get a nice thin layer of mud on themselves, which helps the sun from burning and keeps them cool. This is Hugo, one of our many pot-bellied pigs that we have living here at Cedar Row. Hi, buddy. Oh. Less than 5% of pot-bellied pigs stay in their original home, and Hugo, unfortunately, is one of them. He was bought from a breeder as a micro mini pig, which there is no such thing. It's just a marketing ploy for people, for breeders to make money off of people. Hugo is 2 years old now, but he has 2 more years of growing still. And these pot-bellied pigs are a real problem for rescues because there's just not enough homes for them. So if you do decide you want a pot-bellied pig, make sure to check out rescues and adopt, don't shop. This is Charlie. Charlie is 9 years old. I was driving to Costco to get coffee, and he was a week-old calf running down a side road. It was minus 20. So I threw him in the back of my van and brought him home. Charlie is unofficially the world's tallest steer. He is 6'8" at the withers. I'm 5'4", so he is very, very tall and weighs about approximately 2,500 pounds. And this is what a veal calf looks like when they get to grow up.
Hi everybody, meet Tim. Tim is a black and white Holstein. He was born premature and was destined to be euthanized, probably shot. But a young lad took pity on him and raised him on a hobby farm for 3 years. Then they had to move. They were selling the farm. And we were looking for a friend for Charlie. So he brought him out. And him and Charlie have been best buddies ever since. Tim's not quite as big as Charlie, but he's getting up there. About 2,000 pounds maybe. He loves the grass. and we love him. As you can see, we're getting low on hay and straw. We're almost empty. If you're wondering how you can help, we will be selling bedding and breakfast cards. It'll cost us close to $15,000 to fill this barn up with hay and straw next year. So your donation for a bedding and breakfast card will help us feed the animals.
My name's Shiva. I'm one of the regular volunteers here at Cedar Row. Here we are at the chicken and hen house. So a lot of the birds that you see here are actually egg-laying hens. They've been doing rescue for them for the last 11 years. Some of the hens actually stay here and then they've been rehomed across Ontario. The birds you see here aren't how they come to us, so they usually have no feathers. If you check out our Facebook or Instagram, you can see kind of a before and after. So this is the goat and donkey house now. This is Luna. She's a fan favorite here at Cedar Row. But yeah, this is where they kind of live, and then this is all their area. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer and I run Carroll's Animal Sanctuary and Rescue. We are home to about 100 animals and we are a family-run, not-for-profit. And we're out here in the pig pasture right now just checking out some of the potbelly pigs. We have just over 50 potbelly pigs that live here at the sanctuary, and they always have access to their pasture during the day, and they also have a secondary pasture over to the side here, and they get to just do what they like to do, which is root in the ground and eat lots and lots of grass. We also are home to senior and special needs dogs and cats, as well as a few big pigs, ducks and chickens, sheep and goats. Potbelly pigs make up the majority of the animals that we rescue here at the sanctuary. Our goal is to help senior, special needs, and hard to adopt animals. Potbelly pigs usually fall into the hard to adopt category because a lot of people don't realize that potbelly pigs grow. Potbelly pigs will grow until they're about 5 years old, and a lot of people get them when they're tiny little pigs, very, very small and tiny, which are just piglets, and they don't realize that they'll continue growing for about 5 years. The gentlemen that are here, these guys are all 5 years old or older, and so they're full grown, and they get to live out their lives here at the sanctuary doing their thing.
Our motto is live, love, safe, meaning that we believe every animal deserves to live out their species appropriate life, gets to experience unconditional love, and gets to feel and be safe. Each of the animals that live here have their own name, have their own story, their own history, and our job is to provide them with quality vet care, amazing food, lots of fruits and vegetables, and the rehabilitation that they need to get through whatever has happened to them in their past. Many of the animals that come here come from places of abuse and neglect, and so once they come here, they are part of our family, and they get to live out their entire lives, whether that's 10 years, 20 years, and they never have to fear being adopted out, being rehomed, being neglected again. Once they're here, they are safe.
So this is Rue. She's one of our first big pigs that came to live here when she was just a piglet. She was found after she had fallen off the truck and she was running around just the street area in Kincardine.
And it's really not a safe place, obviously, for Piglet to be running around. And so someone thankfully was able to go out and catch her and brought her here. And she gets to live her life doing what she loves to do, and she absolutely loves attention. She loves to be pet. She loves to be held. She definitely thinks that she's a lap pig, which she's probably close to 400 pounds right now, and she loves snuggles. Right? Yeah. I know I love you. Okay. So our big pigs get to live out their lives doing what they love to do, which is root around. They love to mud wallow. They love to have human attention, as you can see by Rue hanging out with me. And they get tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of snuggles. Our big pigs, have 2 different pastures that they play in, and they get to graze all day if that's what they want to do. They get to sit in my lap, I guess, and they get to just be and live their lives. Oh, I know. What's wrong? Oh, is that a cat? The best part about having a sanctuary is that the animals get to choose what they do during the day. So these are 2 of the sheep that live here at the sanctuary. This is Lambert and this is Lorraine. And they get to spend most of their day grazing on green pasture. And we have a few different pastures for them to graze on throughout the day.